Story 1. Take care of your body. I do not mean just exercise. Get injuries checked. Wear a helmet. Maybe do not attempt the first backflip of your life off the hood of your car while 8 beers deep. This is not limited to men, but men do seem to be the most reckless in this regard. I was guilty and am now paying the price. I was an athlete raised to just walk it off. Now I am in my 40s with joints that sound like Rice Krispies and lingering effects of multiple concussions from my 20s. Story 2. Some people are not worth it, no matter how much they mean to you. If someone makes it clear that they want nothing to do with you, just leave them alone. Story 3. Stop ego lifting at the gym. You are going to tear something and will not be able to lift at all. Lower the weight, focus on form, and you will be lifting heavier in no time. Story 4. This may be redundant. Not taking education seriously when you are young, or not spending time with friends while you still have the opportunity, can lead to regret. Story 5. Sports betting has led to a large rise in male college students seeking help for gambling addiction and filing for bankruptcy. The Economist published an article this week about this trend. Story 6. Buying 3/4-ton or 1-ton trucks for work for $40,000 or more at 12% interest to help build credit is completely unnecessary and can be very harmful. Story 7. Many young men are not finding good mentors. Older men want to help them improve. They only need to ask for help and avoid unwise behavior. Story 8. Every man who refuses to confront himself will become a slave to the projection of others. Story 9. They take advice from and are influenced by Reddit users instead of thinking for themselves or surrounding themselves with people they respect. Story 10. To be honest, having sex without condoms and treating women like sex toys often leads, 40 years later, to paying for children they never wanted with someone they never liked. They end up alone because they do not know how to treat women. Tale as old as time. Story 11. She is probably not the one. Babies are expensive. Be clever and disciplined. People will gossip about you. Develop strong morals you will stand up for. Nothing gets easier. You become more resilient. Know the laws that apply to you and your rights. Fix things yourself. Collect and maintain tools. Do not be rude. Do not ask if someone needs help. Just help. Give donations directly to the person in need. Watch your language. Story 12. Instant gratification is plaguing my generation. I am a member of Generation Z, and I believe many problems people face stem from a desire for immediate rewards, such as video games, drugs, alcohol, or other quick fixes. Story 13. Thinking that a girlfriend will somehow make everything in their life better. Story 14. The friendly, smart, helpful guy always wins. The girl, the job, whatever the opportunity. The asshole only looks cool to other assholes. Somewhere along the line, lacking empathy became a badge of honor for young men. I don't think that will age well. Story 15. Being promiscuous, especially when a person has a family, can cause serious problems. A coworker was fired last week for filming an affair with another coworker and showing the video to others. It was not the first job he had lost for that reason. He has a wife and 2 young boys. I see many young men fall into this trap. They do it to themselves, but I am sure they think the world is unfair. Story 16. This applies to younger men and women. Put the phone down. Look up and notice the world around you. Story 17. Failing to fully clear a car of snow before driving. Story 18. Acting cruel for no reason. They believe their masculinity is tied to showing off harmful behavior. Story 19. Being a man means being responsible and thoughtful in difficult times. I see many young men acting like jerks and treating people badly. To be honest, even some men in their 40s and 50s still have that mentality. Story 20. I see a lot of online anger toward women from younger men, and I just do not get it. I do not know whether it reflects the real world. I have not dated in years, but I see it here and it is shocking. Story 21. You are not wearing personal protective equipment. I am tired of calling you out on it. Wear your hearing protection, dust masks or respiratory protection, eye protection, composite toe or steel toe boots, knee pads, welding jackets and welding gloves, and latex, neoprene, or nitrile gloves to protect against harsh chemicals and other hazards so you can go home safely. You only get one set of eyes, lungs, ears, and kidneys. Not everything is reparable or correctable if injured. If you do not know, ask. If you do know, do it safely and correctly and do not take shortcuts. Story 22. You are assuming instead of asking, thinking, or researching. Get out of your interior life. Story 23. Aiming for status instead of personal fulfillment is not limited to young men. It is a broader problem among men. Story 24. They bury their emotions and try to control everything. Pride is one of life's biggest problems. It manifests in many ways and can destroy you and your relationships. Story 25. Believing you have plot armor is dangerous. No, young person, you are not the protagonist, and horrific things can happen to you as easily as they happen to anyone else. Some mistakes carry consequences that can last a lifetime, possibly a very short one. Story 26. Read books. Educate yourself outside of school and work. Don't blow money on flashy, transient possessions. Story 27. Being with the wrong girls or not recognizing when someone is using them. Story 28. Getting stuck in a high school lifestyle and falling behind in adult life after graduation. Story 29. Poor financial planning and budgeting, and a lack of saving and investing. Story 30. If you call yourself an alpha male, everyone sees you as the person you fear they think you are. Story 31. Stop worrying about your height. It is not holding you back. Focus on the things you can change. Attitude, communication, exercise, humor, and learning new skills. Story 32. Fast forwarding. I'm 37, and I'm just starting to learn how fast everything goes. The movie Click is so powerful in how it portrays what we do one way or another. We fast forward to the parts we like for small bits of enjoyment, and we lose 50% of our life to thinking we were miserable when we did not have to be. An obvious example is that we fast forward through 5 days of work so we can sleep, drink, or play video games during the half of the time we have free. That leaves half your life you do not want to be in. Then Monday arrives and we literally kill time until the weekend. It does not have to be like that. Find things to enjoy. I am serious. Live every minute you can and practice gratitude whenever possible. I have a difficult job right now. The whole situation is insane. I digress. I love the people I work with. The Sunday scaries? No. Starting Monday, I get to hang out with great people and help solve problems that should not exist. And we will have some fun even in a bad situation. Learn to find the fun in everything, even Mondays. There are caveats, but for the most part, do not fast forward. Story 33. Letting anyone else, for example the manosphere, define what it means to be a man is dangerous. This label can be easily grabbed by grifters who appeal to that concept. Story 34. When it comes to dating or interacting with women, many people view them through pop culture tropes and fail to recognize that each woman is a sentient person with her own feelings and thoughts. Many men treat conversations with women like choosing dialogue options in a video game until they reach a sexual outcome, and that is worrying. Some men interpret efforts intended to benefit women, especially discussions about negative male attitudes, as personal attacks. Instead, listen to what is being said, because you might learn something. Personal growth, emotionally and otherwise, benefits you as a whole and extends far beyond interactions with the opposite sex. Story 35. Lately I thought that not caring was cool. I think many of us go through that phase when we are younger. I know I did, being afraid to be seen caring or wanting something because it might open you to failure or mockery. It is cool to care. It is cool to try and fail. Story 36. They hate women and make misogynistic comments while complaining that women do not want anything to do with them. If only those two ideas were connected. Story 37. Thinking you can purchase masculinity is wrong. Masculinity is not the only measure of strength. Strength does not justify everything. Story 38. Instead of buying a brand new car, get an older beater and learn to work on it. Even after buying tools, you save a huge amount of money, including on insurance. You learn more about the vehicles you depend on, become more independent, and gain useful tools and Rock Auto stickers for your fridge. Story 39. A lot of men grow up with a rough start. Maybe their parents were not great or were not really around, or they faced rejection, bullying, or never felt accepted. With that background, it is easy to carry anger and let it leak out online or in real life as bitterness or hostility toward others. I feel for men like that, a bad start in life is not a choice, but at some point, growth requires recognizing that we still have agency. We can repeat the cycle or we can work to break it. We can invest in ourselves, show up better for the people we care about, and contribute something constructive instead of destructive. Hate and aggression do not build anything. They are easy reactions, often driven by insecurity. Real strength shows up in self-awareness, restraint, and responsibility. The men people respect are not the loudest or most hostile. They are the ones who listen, learn, and earn trust over time rather than trying to force it. Adversity can shape us for the worse, or it can sharpen us. I try to let it do the latter, and I think that mindset is worth holding on to. Story 40. Listening to that incel manosphere bullshit like Andrew Tate. Story 41. They get into fights, not necessarily physical, that they do not need to enter, let alone win. Give up the martyr or crusader complex. Not every hill is worth dying on. Story 42. Centering your life and personality around women is a waste of time that could be spent more productively and in more fulfilling ways. Story 43. The world does not revolve around any one person, no matter how important you think you are. Giving is much more fulfilling than taking. Story 44. Don't masturbate before making decisions based on sexual impulses. Clarity after climax would save many people from poor decisions. Story 45. Texting instead of talking when it comes to relationship matters. Story 46. Entering a committed relationship before age 30 when what they really want is to be a single ladies' man and run around and have fun. Story 47. Do not get involved with sports gambling. You will lose money in the long run. You do not have an edge. You are the sucker. I cannot tell you how many young men I know who waste half their paychecks on sports betting. Story 48. I am 15, so I am not a man yet, but I definitely lack accountability. I am trying to work on it myself, to be honest. Story 49. Posturing as if they're tough fighters. Only a small minority of men are actually tough. Story 50. They have false idols. I stopped looking up to anyone. They are all letdowns. I'm not saying they can't. Story 51. They did not invest early, lived beyond their means, and, above all, did not learn common courtesy and decency. Story 52. Leaving education and acting as if the world outside the education system is the same as the world inside it is a mistake. Everything has changed. You must change with it. Story 53. Job skills are critical now. They will be everything in the future. Story 54. Own your space. There are many things in life you cannot control, but you can own and alter the space around you. The space you own and take responsibility for can grow as you gain experience. Story 55. Spending beyond their means, buying expensive cars, trucks, and clothes to impress women, instead of investing in themselves and their future and reaping the benefits of compound interest. Postscript. You will attract better partners in the future. Story 56. Ignoring your problems is very easy, especially if you are making good money at a young age or live in a city. You meet new people, drink alcohol, smoke marijuana, and do other things. Your problems will catch up with you over time. Story 57. They are putting all their daddy's money into lifted trucks with lights in the wheel wells. Story 58. Learning and taking personal finance seriously is the one thing I did early that created a significant gap between me and friends who did not. There are many different financial and investment ideologies. Do not go all in on a single approach. Learn about them all and maintain a balanced approach. Story 59. Getting into a fight because you are afraid of looking weak. Story 60. Sports gambling, vaping, ZYN, and get-rich-quick investment strategies. Story 61. They assume the world should treat them fairly and with respect. You will not. Story 62. Take care of your hands and teeth. You use them a lot. Story 63. Learn to develop your own life philosophy and sense of meaning. Outsourcing that to others is a recipe for being taken advantage of. Story 64. A mistake I see younger men making is listening to men on YouTube the way flat earthers do and thinking these men are presenting gospel truths about gender dynamics. Story 65. People often hide their true selves to fit what they think women want. Women often do not know what they want. Their expressed preferences frequently diverge from their observed choices, especially regarding sex and relationships. Story 66. Thinking and therefore acting as if time is running out. Many of us have experienced this, and the feeling seems to be spreading. You are not old. You have time to figure things out and recover from most mistakes. There is nothing wrong with starting over later or returning to school after you reassess. I started college at 23, graduated at 29, then went back to school at 31. Now I am 34 and competing for entry-level jobs with 21-year-olds. I am still not old. Refinement is a lifelong process. Story 67. It took me many years to understand my feelings and emotions. When I was younger, I believed that being a man meant being tough and stoic. You could cry, but only for a monumental reason in public, and anger was the only acceptable emotion. It was not until I started raising my son and recognized the emotional scripts running in my head that I learned to identify how I was feeling in the moment and what actions those feelings would prompt. I think more young men need to recognize and learn to express feelings of shame and rejection. Emotional immaturity can work when you are young, but it is a trait I now avoid in people later in life. Story 68. Listening to figures like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate is harmful. They are not good male role models. They will only lead you down a path of toxicity, loneliness, and depression because their business model and overall messaging demand it. Story 69. If you are staying with an abusive girlfriend or wife, leave immediately. Get to safety as quickly and as far away as possible. Story 70. Allowing women to guilt trip them into getting married and having children when they fully know that is not what they want. Story 71. A coworker has a girlfriend and he spends a lot of money on her to keep her happy. He is gifted and still a teenager. I am worried that he is going to get her pregnant and then be stuck in this town. He could be skiing in Europe right now or preparing to come home for winter recess from New York University. Do not waste your talent. You can do anything you want. Story 72. Sadly, many younger men and women do not take care of themselves, let alone their family. Fun is great, but it is more enjoyable after work and when real-life responsibilities are taken care of. Story 73. Failing to hit the cutoff in slow-pitch softball makes every single a double. Of course, the young player tried to throw out the runner at home. You know what worked after many years of watching this. I asked the player how many force outs he had at second base. Story 74. Running away from challenges and complexities toward video games. I still love playing games, but you've got to work out your other muscles if you want to handle everything that life will throw at you. Story 75. Financing depreciating assets, for example expensive cars, is unwise. Unnecessary spending financed with credit card debt increases financial risk. Story 76. Trying to find the easy way out and thinking buying their way in with money they do not have will somehow work out. Story 77. Cutting others down involves trying to appear superior by belittling them. Story 78. That having control is an illusion. The only thing you can truly control in life is how you react to it. Story 79. Using ZYN pouches. I grew up using chewing tobacco like Grizzly, then switched to snus. That was bad enough, but the effectiveness of ZYN pouches and the easy dopamine release, which then downregulates, causes serious problems. ZYN pouches can be started easily without the pain of chewing and then titrated up until you cannot do anything without one. Downregulating dopamine puts you at significant risk of depression, reduced motivation, and other problems. I have been around a long time and I have never seen nicotine use this out of control. For reference, an average smoker gets 1 to 2 milligrams of nicotine per cigarette. ZYN pouches can deliver 3 or more milligrams very quickly, producing rapid dependence and quick withdrawal. I know many people using 20 a day of the 6 milligram pouches. which is equivalent to roughly 3 to 6 packs of cigarettes per day depending on absorption. Story 80. We watch too many fantasy and superhero movies instead of thought-provoking films about our world. Story 81. Do not let others define you or make you feel guilty or ashamed. You do not need to be an alpha, and you are not guilty because of another man's actions or words from the past. Be kind and generous, but do not be a jerk or a patsy. Story 82. Do not mix business and pleasure. Do not have sex with coworkers. That is unwise. Story 83. Now that I am 30, I am officially old, so I will weigh in. Jumping straight into university when you are not sure what you want to study, but going anyway because of peer or family pressure. Going away to college is a very formative experience. I made friends who will likely be in my life until the end, but university should be more than that. I know people who did not consider the gravity of taking out loans when they applied, and some of them regret it now. They all say the same thing. College was fun and I am glad I went, but if I had a do-over, I probably would not have gone or would not have rushed into going. If you are certain about a major and have a plan, go for it. If not, it may help to wait a few years, get work or volunteer experience, and try new things until you know yourself and what you enjoy doing. Story 84. Respect your family. Little things like walking far ahead of everyone, including your spouse. Geez, it's your family. Story 85. Don't get caught up in looks, common interests, or social status when talking to a girl. Just because she is attractive, popular, and likes the same things as you does not mean she is a good person. Focus more on shared values and good character. This may sound like common sense to some, but it is easy to overlook in the moment, and keeping this in mind will prevent a lot of drama and headaches. Story 86. Flexing when people make a bit of money is a new money mentality, and it will make you broke quickly. It is all about having stealth wealth. Story 87. Failing to take skills and education seriously and to learn how money works. Story 88. Socks with Crocs and sandals. Pajama bottoms everywhere. Story 89. Do not waste time on trivial activities. Get an education, read books, invest money, and stay physically active. Avoid unproductive things such as video games, sports, gambling, and fights. Story 90. I know one mistake I made when I was a kid. I had a date and she put her hand on my lap. I stood up and said, "Okay, do you want any more chips?" I think it was a sign, but not for more chips. Story 91. Keeping romantic and platonic relationships only out of convenience or necessity is not fair to yourself or anyone else. Story 92. I am in a strange place. I am getting older, in my late 30s, and I have had many surgeries from injuries, so my body should be hurting. Honestly, I feel better than I thought I would, and I still work a physically demanding job. I tell my younger self and younger people to be careful when lifting and to take care of their bodies, but I may be a hypocrite or simply lucky. Eat healthy. Story 93. They blame those around them for not checking in, yet they do not make a meaningful effort to check in on others. It is like expecting others to bake me a birthday cake when I have never baked a cake for anyone else. Story 94. Look at all the 50-year-old men who have amazing careers but no friends. Between now and then you have to make and keep friends. By 50, most realize they need friends but have lost them or moved away several times, and some die by suicide. Maintaining friendships for 30 to 40 years is difficult. Do it. It is so important. Story 95. Marrying in haste just to have regular sex. I did that myself. It should be as difficult to get married as it is to get divorced. Standing before a judge and justifying the marriage would be interesting. Story 96. When I was young, I thought driving at high speed was cool. Now that I am older, I am extremely grateful that I did not get into an accident or, God forbid, hurt anyone with my poor judgment back then. If I am going to be late to something, I will drive normally and apologize for being late rather than rushing to arrive on time. Story 97. Some people spend more than they can afford to impress someone. That person is often only there for the money, and when it runs out, they leave. Many people do not care about money, but they are usually not the flashy ones who attract attention. Story 98. Thinking paradoxical thoughts like, "I'm invincible," and "I won't live forever," So forget it. You are not invincible and you will likely live into your 50s. It may be difficult if you act on those initial thoughts. Take care of yourself, friends. Story 99, you got the girl and you know it. Congratulations. Now stop searching. Story 100. Not wearing hearing protection at concerts and festivals. Story 101. Running the streets and acting too gangster ends up in one of two ways, sadly. Story 102. Having children in their 20s or while struggling financially can lead to suffering later. Story 103. I tell every young person to open a brokerage account at Vanguard or Fidelity. Buy a low-cost or no-cost index fund, set up automatic contributions, and forget about it. When the market dips, buy more. Story 104. Do your best at school. Stop clowning around. Many people regret not taking school seriously. School is the gateway to a better life, even if some people want you to think otherwise. Story 105. For me, it was not scheduling regular dental appointments. It felt like it did not matter until I developed a preventable abscess beneath a tooth due to tooth decay. Even excluding the $600 I paid to have the tooth removed, it was the worst pain I have ever experienced. Story 106. Do not sacrifice your long-term peace for a short-term high. Listen to your gut. If you're second-guessing ordering that last beer, eating an extra gram of mushrooms, or spending money on a large purchase, your subconscious is telling you that something is not right. Story 107. They don't save enough money for the future. Too many sit around at 30 and complain about not getting things or that something is too expensive. It is possible to buy that house and have children, but you need to shift focus from toys and entertainment now. You don't have to become a monk, but stop wasting your time and money on unnecessary things. Story 108. Not setting healthy boundaries and not learning to say no. Letting people take advantage of you because you seek others' validation. Being unnecessarily rude for no particular reason. Neglecting your health. Spending money carelessly on trivial items. Story 109. Entitled thinking means believing the universe owes you something because you have an itemized list of achievements. For example, I should get the job because I have a degree and experience, or I should meet more women because I have a good income, go to the gym, and so on. This attitude kills any chance for real self-reflection and growth. Story 110. If you put someone on a pedestal, they have no choice but to look down at you. If you worship someone and value them more than yourself, they will always see you as desperate for approval and treat you like a puppy. You want a partner, an equal you can be silly with and share inside jokes with. Not someone you have to hide your true self from or constantly perform for. Do not let honeymoon phase feelings rot your relationships. Story 111. All I have to go by are the mistakes I made. Be kind to people. Many of my regrets come from being unkind. I envy those who say they have no regrets. Story 112. Some men turn interactions with other men into competitions. If I tell a story, I often receive a reply in which they did the same thing but better. For some reason we feel we have to win and cannot just have a normal conversation with another man. Do you worry about your own things? Story 113. Putting their effort into trash people, whether women or men. Time is so precious. Story 114. Teasing your friends can be fun, but never underestimate the power of listening and taking your friends' feelings seriously. If a friend is being a creep, call them out on it. Reassure them that you are still their friend if they need support, but more men need to call out unacceptable behavior. Story 115. I am a teacher. There is very little flirting going on now. They would all rather watch YouTube shorts. Tell your sons to get out there and talk to girls again. Story 116. Dreaming of getting rich quick instead of grinding away and making the right financial choices now will keep you from retiring with a nice nest egg. You are not going to become the next YouTube sensation. Story 117. Getting a man trapped. So many idiots from my high school knocked up their shitty girlfriends and felt obligated to marry the stupid bitch. One guy was smart and joined the Navy just to get as far away from her as possible, and he never set foot in the state again. Another guy is now hitched to a shameless fentanyl addict and never gained the self-respect to tell her to fuck off. Story 118. Do not have sex with anyone who does not want it as much as you do. When dating, follow the campsite rule. leave it better than you found it. Controversial. Stop wearing sweatpants, basketball shorts, and Crocs in public. The goal of life is not to be comfortable all the time. Story 119. Do not hold back. Seriously, just try, make mistakes, and move on. You will find something important. Story 120. In group situations, you can be entertained or you can be the entertainment. Always be entertained. I was young once, and we often did foolish things trying to impress or entertain others in group settings. Take a moment, sit back, and let someone else be the entertainment. Story 121. Actively work on communication and personal appearance. Build good habits while young and reap the benefits for a lifetime. Story 122. Working too much. There needs to be a balance between life and work. The people who volunteer for overtime and miss a kid's game or a dance recital dumbfound me. My son had cancer when he was 11, and a coworker told me this is why you must take family time more seriously than work. He said you can make money anytime. You only get one chance to make memories. Story 123. Not using moisturizer on the face or sunscreen can cause skin damage. Skin damage is real and irreversible no matter how much you exfoliate. Story 124. Lack of meaningful social interactions, online or in person. Awareness of problems with diet, drinking, or cleanliness, but change occurs only after entering a relationship. Difficulty communicating feelings early, leading to sudden outbursts of frustration later. Maintaining friendships out of convenience rather than genuine connection. Story 125. Do not take fairy tales to heart or too literally. It is not about winning someone over or proving your tenacity. If someone breaks up with you or is not interested, walk away. Your mission is not simply to have a job. Your mission is to do work that is meaningful to you. Parents often see their mission as enduring a job to ensure the well-being of their family and household. If you do not have ties yet, consider going the entrepreneurial route and forging a mission to pursue. Do not choose a path you loathe solely for financial goals, for example. I will go into finance even though I hate it, but my mission is to save money, live frugally, and have the means to retire and do what I want by age 40. A sense of purpose can make the difference. Wandering through life is not the way. Story 126. If you do not look back at what you did in your late teens and early 20s and cringe, you probably have experienced significant growth. Enjoy your youth, but spend time in self-reflection. Think about the kind of man you want to be and how that man would act. Small changes can make a massive difference. Do you want to be the kind of person who impresses others with witty repartee? Consider how quickly you drink. If you are wasted in the first hour of a night out, no one will be thinking about how sharp you are. Do you want to avoid debt and have healthy finances? Put your last 3 months of bank statements into a spreadsheet and work out where your cash goes. I found I was spending far too much on top-up shopping at the supermarket. I would buy things as I walked around, so I started doing my big shop more often but smaller, and now I mostly avoid expensive top-up shops. Do you want to end up alone and lonely at 40? Probably not. Consider taking up a hobby with a social aspect, such as a hiking club, tabletop gaming, or a team sport. It will get you among people, help build social networks, and you may be surprised how useful social contacts are beyond companionship. Many people find partners, jobs, and resources through people they know, not just direct contacts but people connected to them. Story 127. This applied when I was a teenager, trying to fit in with people who do not respect you just because they are considered cool in social circles. No matter what you think they add to your life, it is not worth it in the long run. They can change your personality so you will not recognize yourself or what you truly stand for. Story 128. Believing it is cool to be totally disconnected from others, to use them, and then to discard them is harmful. Be curious. Treat people as genuine human beings with rich inner lives, just like yours. The saddest older people are those who do not have deep connections. Story 129. People work long hours in the hope of being rewarded. You're only young once. Story 130. This advice is not specific to men. If you are employed and your employer offers a 401k retirement plan with a matching contribution up to 4%, contribute at least 4% to receive the full match. Your older self will thank you. Story 131. We do not have enough audacious confidence in ourselves and do not see the system for the game it is. For most men from minority groups, meaning any demographic, there are many leverage points we can capitalize on if we knew they were available, not necessarily to us specifically but present within the system. Story 132. Concentrate on building your life. Surround yourself with people who want you to succeed. Relationships come and go. Hold tight to those who fill your cup. Story 133. Asking lesbians out and not staying friends with them after being rejected. Story 134. You are drinking and hustling too much. Slow down and enjoy the little things. It is not all about money and parties. Story 135. Stop listening to toxic masculinity and right-wing grifters. No, women are not the cause of all your problems, and they do not owe you sex or attention. If you have to tell everyone you are a nice guy, you probably are not. Wash your genitals, be polite, and accept no for an answer. Women are not that complicated. They just want to live their lives and not end up as a statistic. The same goes for brown people, trans people, or anyone else who did not choose their situation but is making the best of it. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Story 136. I see a lot of red pill nonsense and many young men and women who know the basics of socialization and communication. Leave your phone at home and get practice. Learn to ask someone out respectfully. Listen to and support one another. We live in a time of so much disconnect and social division. It's horrible. Story 137. They do not date enough. Make sure you meet many people so you recognize the warning signs of unhealthy relationships. You may even discover that you are the one with issues, but at least you will know what to work on. Take it from a man who did not date enough when he was young and is now dealing with the consequences. Story 138. I'm a bit late to this, but let your friends know you love them. I'm in my mid-30s and just lost a close friend suddenly last month. They were also in their 30s. Time is a strange thing. Taking some of it to tell the people you care about that you appreciate them can lift them up. Being kind and empathetic, showing love, and expressing big, bold feelings to spread joy can go a long way. What you give out often finds its way back to you. Story 139. It's probably already been said, but whatever fucking information you're getting about women online, lads, get offline. You're being manipulated by foreign governments and corporations. You really need to get out of the cave and back into the jungle. Story 140. They should all be in the gym. The easiest gains you will ever make are in your late teens and early 20s. You can gain so much then that you will likely have a muscular physique for the rest of your life. It is much harder to do in your 30s or later. Story 141. Being angry at anything is not worth the energy. If something makes you so mad that you ruminate and resent it, ask yourself if it is worth it. Let it go, and you will see the world goes on. I carried hate and anger, and it made me unwell, sweaty, with an increased heart rate and sleepless nights. I learned to let it go, and my life has improved dramatically. Story 142. Choosing to pursue a complete lack of humility. Story 143. Not having a proper savings or retirement plan early causes you to miss out on all the benefits of compounding. Being too focused on keeping up with the Joneses is unhelpful. Other people do not care about you. Story 144. Lack of humility, especially on social media. I guess that's a generational difference, but I don't understand the hubris some younger people have. Story 145. Every time I see one of these, I hope somebody learns from it. Not knowing or admitting when they need help, whether out of pride, shame, or something else, leads to the same result. The first thing we do as humans is cry. We ask for help because we cannot do things by ourselves. That is a fundamental part of humanity, and you should not shun it to fit a label. Story 146. They are not taking their own safety seriously. Yes, you are young and feel untouchable and think you know what you are doing. Life is short, you only live once. I was there too, but it takes only one time for something to go wrong. I see video after video that they post, and it is not even that impressive. The footage is always dark and grainy, and they add text that covers half the video. Story 147. Neglecting their car and basic maintenance, such as checking tire pressure, replacing tires, checking engine oil level, and adding windshield washer fluid. Story 148. Do not sacrifice time with your circle of male friends for a woman. Cherish and hold on to those friends as tightly as possible, because when you reach age 30, most of them may be gone. Story 149. For your own mental health and personal development, I recommend staying away from the manosphere, including figures such as Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, and others. They are not trying to give you good advice or help you succeed. They are trying to sell you a product. It is fine to find someone entertaining. Just know that they are not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts or because they have something important to say. They are doing whatever works to make money. Story 150. I'm hearing a lot more about a lack of consent and a failure to discuss likes and dislikes when people have sex with new partners. It's not difficult to check beforehand, guys. Story 151. Lack of motivation from seeing so many Generation Z men graduate without jobs or career prospects. What are you doing after graduation? I don't know. It's December and you graduate in June. Can I see your resume? I haven't made it yet. Have you called anyone or tried networking? No, I don't like talking on the phone. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.